Okay, we are live. It's all yours.
We'll give a little bit of time for people to get logged on, that they're getting the notifications that we went live. Y'all want me to go ahead and begin? Well, we just want to welcome everybody to our second community town hall meetings. The second one for November was postponed due to the election. That was an oversight on our part. So we join you now on December 1st. We hope to make this more of many. This is an opportunity for the public to reach out and share their questions on policeinfo@cityofgraham.com. Or you can type into the Q&A section of the Zoom meeting platform. In this event, we're hoping to take more questions from the public. We're going to start off with Chief Cole. She'll prepare a little background and a little bit of what's going on with the police department. Chief Cole, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Like Ben said, my name's Chief Cole. I was born and raised in Alamance County. I've been with the city of Graham since 1997. I was recently announced as the Chief of Police for the city of Graham, October the 15th, 2020. A little bit about me. I went to Western Alamance High School. Went to basic law enforcement training in Greensboro at GTCC. Went to college at Western Carolina University and finished up at East Carolina University. I'm a graduate of the FBI Academy, National Academy, the 270 class. Held numerous positions throughout my tenure here with the city of Graham. Started out on patrol, worked in community policing, was teaching in the elementary schools for quite some time. Worked with victim services, crime prevention, evidence, accreditation, administrative services, training division. So just a numerous array of different jobs here with the police department. And I'm going to pass the torch to Lieutenant Velez now and let him tell a little bit about himself.
All right. Let me see. Well, I grew up here in Alamance County. I graduated from Eastern High School in 1997. I went in the Army, served the United States Army at Fort Bragg from 97 to 2000. Came back home, went to Rookie School at the Burlington Police Academy in 2001. Always worked at Graham, started here in 2001. Started out on patrol, spent most of my time here at the city of Graham as a patrol sergeant. I did spend 2 years in training. I've been the field training coordinator, served on SRT. Let me see. Worked in recruiting. That's about it, amongst other things. But like I said, I spent most of my time as a sergeant and a training sergeant. I went to A1P in 2015, the 73rd session, and was promoted to lieutenant and took over patrol operations in June of 2018. I guess it's your turn, Lieutenant Sisk.
Good evening, everybody. I grew up in Wake County, graduated from East Wake High School in 1999, went to East Carolina University and obtained my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, started my law enforcement career as soon as I graduated, Went to Graham in 2005, been there ever since. Served as a patrol officer, was promoted to corporal on patrol, got promoted to sergeant over investigations, went back to patrol as a sergeant over investigations, and got promoted to lieutenant and became a lieutenant over investigations. And with that, I command the investigations division, the accreditation function, and the evidence function of the police department. Learned a lot with the evidence function. It was something I never really had a hands-on experience with on patrol. Just got used to collecting evidence, submitting it, and learned a lot with that. And accreditation, since I've been a lieutenant, I've gone through training to become not a certified accreditation manager, but I took the accreditation manager class that's offered through CALEA. But since then, it's been over investigations.
So I want to go over some of the things that we've changed. There's a lot of call for transparency in policing these days. And on our October 6th event, we answered several questions that were compiled from several special interest or groups wishing to know more. And they all have a common theme. We want to have transparency in policing, and one thing that we have done, I'm going to let Lieutenant Sis talk about as far as our policies. Many people want to know what our policy says and how does that compare to the national standard, or what other interest groups are wanting to understand. I believe there is people don't understand, so they want to ask those questions. Can you speak more to that and what we have done?
One of the biggest steps we've done as an agency is become CALEA accredited. CALEA accreditation aligns us with the common practices throughout the country, and it's overseen by a board of law enforcement professionals all over the country. So with us being CALEA certified, that makes sure we're in alignment with the common practices for law enforcement as a whole. With that being said, a lot of people didn't know what we did or how we did it. As part of that, we've reached out to CALEA and Power DMS, which Power DMS is just a format or suppository for policies and for trainings, and it's an easy way for public agencies to push out information to their employees. As part of that, we're able to make it to where our policies are public facing to the people we serve. And you can access that by going to the City of Graham website and clicking on the Graham Police Department link. And when you go to the Graham Police Department landing page, there's actually a tab for you to click on that actually takes you to our public facing documents, which shows a list of all of our policies and how our officers are supposed to practice. And that's the biggest thing as far as transparency, is a lot of people didn't know we did things a certain way or how we did it. So now that we're able to push that out there. But I think that's a very good thing for people to be able to see what our policies state, how our officers are supposed to act, and how we're supposed to basically act on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you for touching on that. Chief Cole, do you wish to add anything to that?
So we also publish reporting on this public-facing document landing page, and that's where all of our annual reports are going to be housed. So you can go to that landing page, and it's much like a Google search bar, and you can search what documents are public documents to get information about the agency. Sergeant Edwards, would you talk about some of the community projects and some of the community engagement or enrichment that the agency has been working on since around August of this year?
I can address that. I want to add a little commercial there. The website's at the bottom of my window there, policeinfo@cityofgraham.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can also contribute on the Q&A section of the Zoom platform. And we did have one come in from Daryl Moser, and we really appreciate your kind words there. You can also post Q&A through our YouTube channel as well. But as far as community engagement, one thing that there is a call for is a not just a us versus them. If you don't understand law enforcement or you don't understand the police world, there's just a boundary there. So we're trying to break down those barriers and have a oneness with the community. One thing that we as an agency have done is we have moved a position in order to help engage the community and start up community enrichment projects. Back in August, we started and moved Sergeant Barnes from the patrol division into support services to assist with this. We are trying to do more with less, and this is one of those opportunities. So since that time, we have had, now most people are aware of the trunk or treat. There was the drive-through edition to help with limiting the spread of COVID. That way people could still have the Hollywood Horror Show was able to help with that. They were able to get their trick-or-treating in. That is one thing we've done. We've also had the food drive for Thanksgiving, where I believe there were 70 turkeys that were in meals that were given away. That was supported by the Graham Area Business Association as well as other community stakeholders. We have been partnering much with the fire department. In addition to that, we found a need that there was a lack of kid-size masks. Sergeant Barnes was able to work with community partners in order to get those and have those free of charge to the public. Upcoming, we have had such a response from the drive-through trunk or treat that we have the Winter Wonderland in Christmas Town. With this, we have also partnered with the Business Association, Grand Parks and Rec, and again with the Atlantic Pacific Studios, which is the organization that supports the Hollywood Horror Show. We're pushing a lot of that information out on social media. There will be a drive-through Winter Wonderland through the police department. They'll have several engaging things in the downtown area of the weekends of the 12th and the 9th, where you can tour downtown, hear some Christmas caroling. There will be an opportunity for children to see Santa in a drive-through safe environment. This weekend, we will have the Santa tour that will be, Santa will ride on a fire truck and accompanied with police officers and police cars. And we'll be going into some of our neighborhood areas to have the opportunity for them to engage with our public safety teams. Now, of course, this is one of many, and we hope to continue to foster and collaborate with that relationship. We find ourselves answering the day-to-day routine calls, and oftentimes we go from call to call, and sometimes that personal element is left out. So we're hoping to do this to engage and collaborate and get to know people on more of a first name basis, and not just being like, I think it was Joe Friday, of just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. So far, we haven't received any more messages that I can see on my screen here. Again, I want to redirect people to policeinfo@cityofgraham.com, policeinfo@cityofgraham.com, and you can post your Q&A on the Zoom platform and on the YouTube platform.
And to go back to our public facing documents, we not only publish our policies that we abide by, but we're starting to publish our annual report. Our annual report is an annual gathering of statistics for our agency. We look at the number of calls we go to. We also touch on some of the high liability issues that people are really, really harping on now, as far as use of force, bias-based policing, traffic stops. And we compile all those statistics, and we're starting to push those out to the public. That way everyone can see what we do as an agency on an annual basis. It also touches on our annual training on our officers, any new officers that we have, any new technologies or new programs that we've started as an agency. It hits on ton of different things that the agency does on an annual basis. And if I've missed anything, Lieutenant Velez or Chief Cole can step in, but there's a ton of information that our agency does that people don't see on a regular basis that we push out on our annual report. That it's also important. It's important for our community to see that we are doing things and we are trying to advance and we are trying to better ourselves.
Les, do you have any, Lieutenant Velez, do you have anything to offer on that?
Nope. I think everybody pretty much covered it. Yeah, most of the stuff I do for the annual report is personnel related, so it's not going to be included.
Of course. Well, it appears that since we do not have any questions coming in, we're going to bring this to a close. I do want to stress everybody that you can use the police info at cityofgraham.com at any time. That is a main email address that can be routed through several of the command staff and support services division to be able to engage. So if you do have a question, please feel free to use that platform. Now, of course, I do want to have a disclaimer that that is not a substitute for calling 911. If you do have an emergency, please, by all means, call 911. Do not use that. But if you do have questions about police practices or something that needs to be directed to one of our divisions, somebody can get you to the right person. So I thank those that have joined. We wish to have this continue, and at any point in time, if you want to address the next town council meeting for the police department, please feel free to use policeinfo@cityofgraham.com. Thank you for joining us this evening, and God bless.